Hey, doll.
Hey, babe. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Episode 4. It'll probably get to a point eventually where I'm not counting out the episodes, but until we get double digits at least, I'll make sure we can continue on keeping people on track as far as what episode we are on.
Sounds great.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Do We Have To? Marriage Podcast. It's a Not Actual Family Studios production. Executive producer Colin Maskell. I'm your host, Sean Miller. And
I'm Emily.
Emily, the wonderful, talented, nonverbal communicator. I've gotten a lot of great feedback about your facial gestures and your anonymity on the show, which is fantastic.
Are you sure that's a good thing?
Absolutely. It's a great thing. Absolutely.
I do not have a poker face, no.
You've got, when we're on video, you have to bring the energy, and you do that.
Hopefully it's positive.
Absolutely. But yeah, we got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be focusing on our Do We Have To Talk About It? We're good. We got another segment where some folks have brought us some feedback in regards to marital question. We also have today, we're going to talk, do we have to start a book club? We're going to talk about Dark Matter finally. Yeah. Both the book and the TV show. As well. Yes. And we're also going to talk about Emily's winner of the Emotional Support Coffee of the Month, which we'll get into that wonderful coffee shop and everything about it before we go into the book club. Yeah. So how are you feeling post-Christmas?
Exhausted.
You did a great job.
Thank you. So did you.
I feel like there was a lot of, let's break down if we were going to break down statistics like sports, right?
Oh, dear.
I'd say you wrapped about... close to 100 presents, it seems like. Probably not 100, but still, you did the wrapping.
Yeah, for the whole family.
You did, absolutely, and then some. Mm-hmm. You also actually put together most of the items as well. Now,
so far, all of them except for one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so...
which I very well may end up doing because it's not looking great on...
No, Thumbtack's going to come through for us.
I don't know about that.
Santa brought our wonderful daughter, Tegan, a loft bed for Christmas this year. This is what she asked for.
Yeah.
So we're navigating the world.
Just so everyone is aware, we have a family rule of you're only allowed to ask Santa for one item. Like Santa only brings you one gift. And so we try really, really hard to make sure that Santa gets very early communication on what that one gift is.
Yep, the Miller Family Elves actually hook us up with that in November.
He doesn't miss an opportunity if one were to come.
Yep. The Miller Family Elves ask the kids to fill out essentially hey, what do you want from Santa? Write him a letter. Tell him you're appreciative of everything he does.
The day after Halloween.
Yeah, basically that's when we get the party started.
Yeah.
We need that letter.
We need all of that time to get that letter to the North Pole. And each child has their own elf. So we have Chippy, Karen, and Izzy. Yep. And they are 3 terrific elves who didn't do a whole lot this year, but they were present, and that's what matters.
Yeah, very similar to the Kelsey household. There's not as much shenanigans that the elves get into at the Miller household.
And honestly, I really liked the fact that they didn't make messes this year. They didn't have to move around so much. They were just very chill.
I'm not a big believer in that, to be honest. I think it's awesome for people to do it. Or not people that do it, the elves that do it. I think that's fantastic. Ours are watchers. Our Miller
very
elves,
laid back, like to very chill.
Sit back and just take in some of the good and also inappropriate behavior that our children display throughout the year.
Yeah. And they don't have to move around for them to see that.
Well, sometimes for days they may like a spot specifically. They loved it that fucking our live tree this year that we did. They loved sitting at the top of that thing for like 4 or 5 days.
They really liked the view out of the kitchen window and all of my plants. Yeah. They really enjoyed that scenery.
In perfectly there. I get it.
Yeah, totally. So. The chandelier in the dining area thing, whatever space, got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything went smooth for the most part. The only wrench that got thrown in was Maeve went completely rogue from what she wrote Santa.
Sure did.
Right? What, 4 days before Christmas?
Yep.
So
But
are you excited that you wrote Santa about Taylor Swift?
I didn't do that.
I didn't do that. I want Elphaba and
I want wicked
stuff.
But thankfully, siblings
paper,
and
Maeve.
aunts and uncles and Gigi's and Papa's and all of the other people in her life came through with those gifts. So, you know, it was fine. All of the panic and hours staying up late and refreshing my screens.
Christmas is a magical time. And that's
sure
where
is.
everybody gets in the Christmas spirit, and they all help out. But I will say that was a little bit of a mind fuck right there at the end where, now granted, she's 5. So I don't know why we didn't expect this type of betrayal quite the way that it occurred.
Betrayal.
And when I say betrayal, I mean the betrayal of Santa, obviously.
Absolutely.
Not you and I. You and I were fine because we were able to... We're
yeah,
because
the first thing she said when she opened Santa's gift was, "I didn't ask for this."
Well, we have it in writing, so that's the nice thing about hard copy. Now,
we don't have it in writing because it got sent to the North Pole with the elves.
After they wrote it, I took pictures of it, which all the kids are aware of. So I highly recommend that for any parent. Before it gets sent off to the North Pole, take a photocopy of the letter. And that way you can make sure that you use that as evidence in any type of present dispute trial.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we also had a little bit of issues with Santa for Seamus, too. The whole Lego set situation. One was just not going to be found anywhere Santa tried.
Well, ultimately, the one he asked for in the letter, again, see, just go back to hard copy. Go to the receipts. Yeah. That's what I say. Go to the receipts. What did he say on the letter? The letter fucking clearly states, in handwriting, by our child, he wanted the Harry Potter Hogwarts Express train Lego set.
Yes.
And what did Santa bring?
The Lego train.
Fucking Lego Harry Potter set. Now, did he try to go rogue and ask for the Fortnite Battle Bus Lego set?
He
Absolutely.
Sure
but
as
guess
fuck
what
did.
happened? Mom and Dad came to the fucking rescue.
Yeah.
Hey, Lego, shout out to Lego. Thank you for allowing us to be on a wait list for Lego sets. So parents, if you have any kids that are in Legos, just so you know, I just found this out through process with Emily. You can actually, even if it's sold out, you can sign up, and as soon as it's available, they'll notify you and you can purchase it. And somehow,
we got on
it's fucking popular.
We got on the back order list, and I didn't honestly expect it to come in.
Nope.
So
got it in time, and we were heroes.
Gosh, were we ever? I think this was a great. I think this was a great Christmas.
Oh yeah, my favorite Christmas yet, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it just went perfectly. And I think we did a good job of not overbuying gifts. And I think that Santa came through.
Well, we really
perfectly.
try to stick to the 4, like something to wear, something to do, something to read, and something they want thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do like that system. We always end up buying more, though.
We do, but I mean, if we can try to get at least those 4 things, then
that's the base of the foundation of all the Christmas madness that ensues on Christmas morning. And then that's perfect. Completely agree. I have a fun little thing I would like to do before we jump into our actual segments, if you're good with it.
Sure.
So, obviously I'm a huge movie person. You and I are a huge movie. Well, you're not a huge movie person, but you follow along the ride with me greatly. And I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I went into IMDb and I just looked up what are the highest rated Christmas movies of all time.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to tell you the top 5 Christmas movies.
Okay.
And you don't have to agree with them by any means, but you can certainly
Probably
provide
won't.
any feedback on those movies. And then I would like to allow you, and I'll allow myself, to replace one of them, if you can, with another movie. So
Does it have to be a Christmas movie?
well, yeah, because it's Christmas.
Okay.
Why would it not be the Christmas movie? Yeah, absolutely. So it's
Okay.
top 5 Christmas movies on IMDb. We can take out one, we can add one.
Okay.
So
Let's go.
I would love for you to give that feedback. Remove one. Why would you remove it? And then add one. Why would you add it? Right.
Okay.
So let me give you the list of the top 5.
Okay.
Starting out at number 1 with a score of 8.6. It's a Wonderful Life.
Is the top rated?
Is the top rated, where Christmas, a holiday movie, is the genre of the film. So that's where I pulled it off. So this is the list of top 100 Christmas movie of all time. Eric Scissorhands wrote that's funny. That's definitely not his last name. And it was modified up to at 5 days ago as far as the scores. So I mean, literally, it just was updated. Recently.
I'll take that one.
So number one's It's a Wonderful Life. Number two, coming in at 7.7, is Home Alone.
No. Okay.
Oh, you don't like that?
I don't. No.
Why is that?
I don't know. The whole idea of parents leaving their child and like the shit that goes down.
Accidentally.
It's just, no. To me, that is not.
Moira is one of your favorite television characters of all time. You're really going to shit on Catherine O'Hara right now?
Absolutely. Like,
do you know what they had to do? They were hosting like 3 different families, 20 kids.
No.
The child was being kind of a pain in the ass.
No.
Sleeps up in the attic. They oversleep.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's go to number 3 then. Okay.
Okay.
All right, number 3 coming in hot, because this is going to be an issue potentially.
Of course it is.
Die Hard.
Oh, absolutely not.
So this is a huge debate, and I hear it every single year on the radio. 96.5, The Fan in Kansas City even brought it up. The Kelsey brothers talk about it because it's one of the podcasts we listen to. I see it on television. Entertainment Weekly talked about it.
It's not a Christmas movie.
Why?
Well, for one, Bruce Willis himself says it's not a Christmas movie.
You know what Bruce Willis said? And I quote, he goes, it's not a Christmas movie. It's not an action movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie. So like he's not really adding to the debate. He's just saying it's his movie.
Okay, well, Jason Kelsey said it's not a Christmas movie.
Just because I love the Kelsey brothers doesn't mean I'm going to fucking agree with everything Jason says. And I'm going to say right now, Jason, flat out don't agree with you. Here's the thing. It's at a fucking Christmas party. It is Christmas time. Relationship on the rocks. It doesn't
embody what the Christmas spirit is. Neither does Home Alone. To me, that's not what the Christmas spirit should be about.
Home Alone that movie ends up symbolizing family and togetherness. And honestly, so does Die Hard, because guess what? That relationship's on the rocks. He flies out to California.
No, next. Okay.
All right. That's fair. Number 4, 1951's A Christmas Carol. So I assume the original theatrical Christmas Carol.
Okay.
By Charles Dickens. And then number 5 is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1964, the television show, the claymation show.
Oh, okay. I like that.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did about half of that. That's fair. I was actually fine with it, except for the Christmas Carol one, just because I feel like there's been renditions of it that have occurred since then. Like Bill Murray's Scrooge is 10 million fucking times better.
I kind of like the Muppets Christmas.
I don't like the Muppet. Yeah, the Muppets Scrooge with Michael Caine, one of the goats, right? Absolutely. Yeah. So if I were going to remove one personally, it would be the Christmas Carol from 1951.
Okay, and you would replace it with?
I would. It's tough. I would. What would you remove though? Let's start there.
I want to remove 2.
You can't remove. Okay, remove 2. Why not?
I would remove Home Alone and Die Hard.
No. Okay. And
then
what would you replace them with?
The Polar Express.
That's so good. And it's just such a connection with our family because we watch it every Christmas Eve with the kids. This year we took them to the theater to see it at AMC Berry Woods, which was fantastic. We were actually the only ones in the theater, which was a lot of fun too.
It was. That was a
I highly recommend
blast.
Too, if anybody in the Kansas City area, or I assume AMC does this all over the country, but it's really cheap to go see an old re-release movie. They do The Elf. They did, and we didn't see it, but the ones I tracked, they did The Elf, Polar Express. I think they did Christmas Vacation, which I really wish could have saw, and Love Actually, and maybe a couple others. But it's like $6 a ticket.
Yeah.
So you can't beat that.
Yeah.
So Polar Express, and then what?
And I would also add, it's kind of a tie between Noelle.
Ooh,
and the
Disney Plus
Elf.
original and the Elf. You love the Elf though. You've loved that since we were like.
I do, but I really like Noelle.
It's got a great message.
It really does.
It does.
Really does.
What do you think? What is the message? What did you take from the show?
Well, she was like, it's all about the perfect present. Like it wasn't about the Christmas spirit. It was about the materialist part of it, like getting the perfect present.
Right, but it related to who the person was and why and.
Right, but then at the end, she realizes that it's not about the present, that it's about the people, it's about the spirit, it's about, how Christmas time makes you feel and how you bring it all together. And like, it's about people and helping one another and giving, not getting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a good movie. And I highly recommend it if anybody hasn't seen it yet. It is a Disney original, so I don't know. Yeah. It didn't have a theatrical release, so obviously it's I don't know if that's a turnoff for some people or not, but it is a really good movie. Yeah. It's funny, it is well done, and it's got a lot of like spirit to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, completely agree.
And I also want my own version of Snow Cone.
Oh, the baby reindeer?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. That's a fantastic character, in the CGI character in the film.
Like, how cute would that be?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The other thing is, too, is, I don't know, I think Bill Hader does a really good job in that movie.
Yes.
And I think all the supporting characters.
So does Anna Kendrick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody in that film does a really good job with all the characters. Even like the kind of I wouldn't say it's a love interest, which that's actually kind of interesting too, the way they do that, where it's kind of like,
I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's a brush of romance
in there, but it's really not, you know what I mean? And the ending and like there being a female Santa Claus is really cool. I think that's awesome because it's not about man or woman. She's actually just meant for the job.
Well, I also think it helps symbolize Santa, like what Santa really is.
Yeah, Santa's a state of mind. It's absolutely. It's not a gender. It is absolutely. It's what you bring to the table. It's how you interact with people. It's empathy. It is understanding. I completely agree. So, okay, got it. What I would replace on my top 5, and I was having a really tough time with this because, December for me is always a really special time because it's my mom's birthday on December 19th. Yeah. And, she passed away in 2006. So I always have a tough time with that day. And one of the last Christmas movies I ever saw with her was Love Actually.
So that's a good one.
And I feel like it seems like it's kind of a polarizing movie in the sense like that's another one I think is a little bit debated where it happens on Christmas, but is it really a movie that embodies a Christmas spirit? I think it does. I don't think, but now as I get older and my experiences, I really go with something I relate to that's sentimental to me. I gotta go Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I just have to. Every year, now that we have kids and we have a home, we've had families over for like the Thanksgiving time leading into Christmas and all the work that it entails and everything. I fucking love that movie. And it's just great.
We hosted both Thanksgiving and Christmas this year.
We did. Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to host New Year's.
And I totally understand his sentiment of like wanting to bring everybody together despite, you may have differences of opinion. You may be different the way you lead your lives. But these are the times of year where you can bring your family together and have a magical time and make memories that you'll take on for the rest of your life. Yeah. I'm a huge believer in that. Like, and I love it. And then all the fucking things that you encounter and have to deal with. And it's just a great movie. That's what I would pull Christmas Carol out. I would throw Christmas Vacation in there.
Got it.
Yeah. It's fun. Looking forward to Christmas next year. This is the first year, and I'll say, and this is a testament to you, Emily, this is the first year where it's like, I always get bummed out when Christmas is ending and New Year's starting because it's like, the magic's over and you have to wait till fall again, and I'm sitting here waiting for pumpkin spice and then I'm waiting for our Christmas drinks and all those sorts of things that come in. That has not been this year for me. That has not been my story. This has been the best fucking year of my life, I think. And and it's crazy because we've had a lot of things. I think if you look at it on paper,
we've had a lot of shit. You'd be like,
oh my God, why are you saying that? I think if you're with the right person and you've put the right work into things and you're trying to do the right things every day, those things don't matter. You just have a great year. You just have a great time.
I mean, we have definitely made the best out of what's happened for sure.
And I just think that's a testament to the work that we've put into each other and the work that you put into our family. And I'm greatly appreciative of that.
This has been one.
Yeah, it's been
fucking hell of a year.
There's a lot happening this year, but it's been a great fucking year. And I'm very proud of this year and I'm proud of you. And I just think it's been a great year. I really, really, really do. It's been great.
Yeah.
But thank you for I love movies, and we didn't get really a chance to do a bunch of just with everything going on with Dad and with just life. My Uncle Tim passed away right before, we got into the death of Hollywood. Rest in peace, my Uncle Tim. He was just a fantastic human being. Like, just one of those family members, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, I don't have a bad memory of him. And I was kind of telling you about that not too long ago. Like, I just no interaction, whether I was doing great things or even if I was doing something dumb, I never had a bad interaction with the guy. And one of my favorite cousins of all time is Kelsey, and I've always had a great relationship with her, and he's a big reason why she is who she is as a human being. And, it's been a year, but this has been great. And it really is a testament to you, honey.
Oh, well,
so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Which is why I was glad I was able to get you those. And thank you to Parkville Jewelers, who do not support the show in any way, but I want to make sure and give them a special shout out because they helped me hook up Emily with a beautiful small set of diamond earrings that wasn't planned, but there was 19 little of the tiniest microscopic diamonds ever on each side, which then ended up, she was 38. So it kind of was like meant to be.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend going there if you're in the Kansas City area, and if you're looking, they're great about, you can give them a budget, amount that you're looking to do. And then, and Seamus did a great job picking out that wonderful moon and sun necklace for you. And of course the girls picked out that dachshund necklace that I know you absolutely love.
I do.
So, yeah.
And I love the moon and heart one, or moon and sun. I'm wearing it.
Oh, perfect. That's fantastic. See, there you go. It's all good to go. So it was a wonderful Christmas.
For my best man. Mm.
That's right. That's right. How do you view the kids again?
Well, Seamus is my best man.
Right. But as far as like, one's your moon, one's your...
Oh, yeah. He's my mountain.
Seamus is your mountain. Why is that?
I don't want to go into...
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah. So he's your mountain.
He's my mountain. Tegan is my ocean. Uh-huh. And Maeve is my moon.
Got it. I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So very cool necklace, very cool time. Awesome. And we're going into the end of the year, and I think I'm looking forward to a lot of things with 2025 with you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, jumping into, do we have to talk about it? So, we did our last episode. We, discussed a question that was actually sent directly to the show, which was awesome. Got great feedback on that. I had multiple people reach out, and they were kind of pointing me in directions of marriage articles to talk about on the show or parenting articles. And then I saw one, there was one that was mentioned on Facebook, with obviously getting involved in social media on the show. I'm in it a lot more now. But there was a question that came up on a social media page in regards to marriage. And I thought that would be a good one just because it was basic, but I in the sense of like, it was a very simple, small question. But it just kind of hit me of something that we can talk about. And especially this time of year where I think unfortunately, there's a lot of opportunities to come together, but there's a lot of opportunities for separation as well and kind of splitting apart, right? So this is another anonymous person, but they essentially, for verbatim here, okay, I need help on this. My wife is wanting a divorce. They don't go into any specific reason why. They just say that. I'm trying to rebuild what we have or had. Nothing working yet. I'm trying so hard not to lose her. I know I'm not the best or perfect husband, but I do always try, and I always have. What am I doing wrong? Any advice would be great. What do you think when you hear something like that?
Well, it's really vague. Like, there's not a lot of details. Like, what are you trying? Is she trying too? My
assumption's not. Because when you're saying a message like this and you're asking for help, it probably saying that I'm doing these things, it's not working. Like, do you guys have any thoughts?
Well, I don't really think you can save something if the other person isn't willing to.
100% agree with that. I'll take it a step further. And, I know we talked about this just a tiny bit. I don't like to talk about this stuff too much beforehand because I like just really organic responses from both of us. I don't like to think on it too much. I'd like to give exactly how I'm feeling raw.
Yeah.
I got a little frustrated.
You did.
About it. And it's not because I think that person's doing something wrong. It's just, it reminded me a lot of me when I was younger and I was traversing through relationships. And when something wasn't going right, my initial reaction was always just to be like, try to figure out what's wrong and then do what they want, what I think they want me to do.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
Which is just, I think it's such a selfish, and I'm saying this about myself, it's such a selfish way to try to fix something. And because the worst part about it is you're taken away from yourself. So if you have a partner, and it didn't sound like to me like that person came and asked for a divorce yet. At least I didn't take it that way. Maybe that happened.
Well, I mean, I think
they're saying they want a divorce, but like, have they received the papers yet? Is that the process they're going through? It doesn't sound like it yet. It sounds like maybe that's something that's been mentioned or conversated, right? So you have a partner who seems to be withdrawing and doesn't want to have anything to do with rectifying the relationship. So your thought process to that is, I'm just trying to figure out what to do and I'm trying my best. Like, that's not going to fucking cut it. I'm sorry.
No.
And here's the deal. I guarantee you, it's not about what you're doing for her. What are you doing for yourself?
Right.
Are you working on yourself at all? Or are you just trying to figure out what she wants and then kind of accommodate it? So you just keep things going status quo. You need to be fucking, if they're not giving you balls in their court, obviously you want the relationship to continue. But you need to want the relationship to continue in the best way possible. You want it to grow and be better than where it is now and to where it ever has been. And if that's the case, you really need to work on yourself. So,
yeah. But it sounds like a relationship will go nowhere fast if you're growing apart. You need to grow together. Everybody's going to grow. I grow as a person, you grow as a person, but I feel it took us a while to get us back on the growth pattern, forward.
And how did we start grow? How did we end up coming together and growing together?
Therapy.
And what did we do? We started working on our fucking selves.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we started becoming better versions of ourselves.
Until we separated out.
We realized we were coming. All of a sudden we have something to work on with ourselves. Yep. We have confidence in ourselves. We know what we want. And now we're coming together. And that's where those healthy boundaries are getting set up. And you can't tell me, and I don't mean to sound sexist by any means, because I think that men and women can do anything they want to do. So I don't want anybody to take it that way. But there are things about females and there's things about males, or people who identify themselves as females, identify as males. There's expectations of what they are. In a lot of ways, men provide security. You know what I mean? Men are responsible for taking care of things, and that doesn't mean females don't take it. I mean, fuck, you fix everything in this house. So it's not like I'm just out there with a fucking, tank top on, hammering away at nails. You know what I mean?
Nope, that is
but
definitely
I do have
me.
a responsibility to make sure that you and the kids are taken care of. And that is a responsibility that a lot of times falls on a man. It doesn't mean it doesn't fall on a woman, but it does. Right. And it requires me to really work on taking care of myself mentally, physically. Those things are really important. If you're not doing those things, I know when we've had our worst times, was I doing that?
No.
Were you picking up on that? Mm-hmm. Was that something you really respected?
No.
Well, there's your fucking answer. So here's what I will say, and this is just my thoughts on it. If you want to save this marriage, you need to go 100% in on making yourself the best version of yourself you can. You need to make sure that you are exclaiming to this partner of yours that you want this marriage to work out, and you're going to make sure that you are accommodating. But you also need to have healthy boundaries. You can't just be her way or the highway. You need to work on yourself. You need to have healthy boundaries in place.
That's what I was going to say. You can't just say, what do you want? And then give it to them because...
Yeah, if it's a hostage demand, it's not going to fucking work. You need to get out.
No, but it's also you're trying to be a mind reader. You can't do that. If you haven't asked the questions, what is it that we need to... if you don't know what's missing for that other person, then, and you don't, they said, they're not the best or perfect husband. Well, nobody is, and nobody's going to be. But
honestly, that doesn't need to be a fucking focus either.
Is this person trying to draw out the best in you? Do you want to be better because of this person? If the answer is no, then that's your answer.
Yeah.
And the answer is not always going to be figure out a way to stay together. It might not be the best situation.
Well, if you're working on yourself, you're likely going to come to this realization. That person's either going to come back and try to work on themselves as well, and you guys are going to come back together,
right?
Or they're going to stay stagnant.
And then you're going to be like,
it ain't going to work.
It's not going to work. So let's go our separate ways.
And you're going to be better for it.
Absolutely.
You could be better together, but you could be much better individually as well.
Yes.
And that's okay. Because guess what? You're going to walk away. You did everything you fucking could.
Right. And you're working on yourself. So now you are focused on being the best person you can be for you.
Completely agree.
Not for somebody who's not going to respect it, contribute to it, support it. Like, if, you know, I don't know how to say this without, like, I don't know how to word it.
Just say it how you feel.
But, like,
we can't hem and haw about how it's going to sound. Now, I know I do that quite a bit, but you know, you just got to say how you feel about it. And I completely agree with you. I mean, I think that the thing is that a lot of times if you're looking in areas to focus, and if you're thinking about the external, you're probably most 9 times out of 10 going the wrong direction. You need to focus on the internal. The external gets taken care of eventually once you have the internal figured out.
Right. Like, I know for ourselves, for you and I, when I get very self-conscious and very insecure in who I am as a person and what I do and don't do, that is a very big turnoff for you. You tend to distance yourself, and vice versa. When you go through, well, like, you kind of just, like, not shut down, but it's almost like,
I don't want to feed into your insecurities.
Right. Like, you don't want to.
I want you to feel valid in how you feel.
That.
But yeah.
But when I am, like, really super proud of myself and I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do this. And I did this. And you're like, yeah, you are. And, like,
hot.
Yes, like, the level of, like, physical, like, attraction kind of comes back when you're not taking care of yourself. I'm not super attracted to that. Like,
that's fair.
When I don't take care of myself, you're not really into it.
And you shouldn't be. If I'm not doing the things that I need to be doing to make myself the best, to be the best father and the best husband, you don't deserve that. Number one, and number two, it's not an attractive trait. I mean, at the end of the day, we're advanced. We're human beings. We have advanced thoughts. We're fucking animals. And resource allocation and fucking security are big things. And if we're men that aren't providing that, or women not providing that sense of security, we don't deserve to have good, healthy, long-term relationships.
Like, you working on your goals is very attractive for me. And I know me working on my goals is attractive for you.
Think about just doing this show, what it's done for us.
Well, I mean,
I know how hot you are for me all the time. And vice versa.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking
about after the show. That's pretty much what I do during the show, is just think about after the show.
You have to find a way to grow together.
Yep.
Because you gotta be standing on 2 legs. If you're the one growing and they're staying in this lane, and it's just continuing to either stay still or move further away, you're not going to get anywhere.
You have to be you have to have a stable foundation to make a journey together. And if you don't have that, it's just never going to work as well as it can. Doesn't mean it won't work. Doesn't mean you can't have it. But you're not going to be always happy. And then those lulls are going to happen more. And sometimes they're going to be deeper. Mm-hmm. And that's where you run into shit like this. You know what I mean? So
it just seems like only one person is willing to put in the work.
Maybe, but we don't know the whole story.
We don't. Here's the thing. This one is really big.
When you fucking put something out there, and I'm not shitting on this person by any means. It's not that. And whoever wrote this, don't take this like I'm just like, oh, I see what you're doing. No, but it's so fucking easy to paint a picture where it seems like it's on the other side. And I just the fact that it's kind of like that direction, I just don't like that. It kind of says to me like, okay, both sides aren't doing things the right way. And if you really want this to work, all you can control is your side. Mm-hmm. Fucking get to work.
Yeah.
That's
work on you.
Work on you. Mm-hmm. Here's 3 things. Get a physical win every day, get a mental win every day, and get a productivity win every day. And that doesn't have to be with your job. Nope. If you have a passion project, a side hustle that you're doing, get a fucking win there. And if you're doing that consistently every day, you're going to be moving in the right direction. And then those conversations are a lot easier because those conversations are set up because that your partner's seeing it. They're seeing it, and all of a sudden there's an attraction there to that. And then those conversations about you guys being together are easier. And then get fucking therapy. Like I know we just slam on this nonstop on the show, but I won't fucking stop because it has worked too well for us, and I've seen it work too well for other people to shit on the process. And you can try to go around it all you want, but all of us have our own individual trauma. All of us bring trauma in together and create it as couples, and it's minor or major.
Yeah.
It's stuff we need to work through with a third party. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's trained to do it. So.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say about that.
Same.
And I really appreciate the fact that people are kind of directing us. We've gotten a ton of great feedback from the show, much more than, again, I know I say this, I probably sound like a broken record, but much more than I've been expecting. We have thousands of hits on our YouTube page. We are seen in Canada, Australia, the UK, Mexico. We have people, and I don't fucking know people in those countries. I don't know if you do, but almost all the states in the United States are listening to the show or watching the show in some sort of capacity. It's been an absolute dream, and I really do appreciate the fact, and I know you do too. Yeah. That people have been as interactive as they have with the show. And give your opinion. I mean, fucking that laundry little video or little segment of our show that we talked about last time. Jesus Christ, that brought some energy out for some folks. I got called a narcissist.
By the way,
which was fantastic.
I have labeled the containers.
I saw that, which is fantastic. Thank you for labeling. By the way, I have not fucked up laundry at all since then. I don't know if you've noticed, laundry is fucking smelling good and there's no stains. Thank you. I'm so glad I'm contributing at a higher level.
Still not caught up. But it is labeled.
It's just so funny. People watch a show or watch a little segment of the show and they just assume, I can see where I'm not shading that person at all. I can see where it comes off like I'm like, you're supposed to do the fucking laundry. You got to direct me. But in reality, you prefer to do the laundry because you have a specific way that you do it. And I was just trying to adhere to that. We needed to talk through that. But, hey.
I hate doing laundry, but I do have a process for it. I don't like the way you fold, but I appreciate that you get it done and that you put it away. I hate how different we are on laundry, but I do appreciate when you help.
I appreciate it because usually we can tag team it. And depending on the scenario, it's more of like, okay, Sean, you get the hot tag, you're in.
That happened with the dishes.
Right? Yeah, you just got to get it done.
I had done 17 loads of dishes, and I was I boycott the sink.
Reorganized and everything cleaned, and maybe some stuff built. Well, yeah, then you come in and you do your normal thing. If you just want it, you want a quick and dirty job of it done, I'll come in and we compliment each other. I appreciate that about each other. It's not that one of us is responsible for it. Are, I would say, of our relationship, you're OCD.
Very.
And so that can fuck with you if we're not kind of trying to, not saying we're like prisoners just doing things the way Emily wants them done, but
no,
you are more particular about those things. It does not fucking bother me. I just want to get it put away.
I am trying really hard to let go of things.
You don't have to try really hard to let go. It's
no, but
fine.
we're trying to give the kids more chores, and I'm trying really hard to not go back and re-sweep or re-vacuum or
that's fine. I'm sure
organize something, but when they go to school and I come home and I have an extra hour or so, I will completely reorganize one of their rooms.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And it's the thing is that
I just can't deal.
Hey, but you do a lot of good with that. You take something that a lot of people look at as a negative, and it really is a positive as far as in our household. And it wasn't really until my best friend, since I was 9, gave me the best advice one time. Because you and his wife are very similar as far as very particular about how you do things around the house.
Yeah.
And he said, I found that we always had the hardest time as far as interacting or communicating when I said, or I gave her a hard time about being like that. Like, why are you so worked up about how this looks? Whatever. And then I started just asking, how can I help?
Yeah.
I just thought that was the most, shout out to the kids, Uncle Will. I just thought always that was the best advice. Because it is. It's just how do I be a part of that to where it's conducive to what you want the outcome to be to our household? Because
it really does stress me out when things aren't done in a certain way. And I know that that's a problem. I know that that's just me.
Oh, it's fine. There's going to be partners that one's more particular about the way things are done.
People think it's crazy that I mop our walls. But the kids touch the wall and they get crap all over the place. Like we have chocolate protein shake on our ceiling in our living room because they dropped a cup and it like volcanoed everywhere. And they're like, how did that happen? And I'm like, well, I'll clean it when I mop my walls. And they're like, what? And I'm like, every 2 weeks, I mop our walls because they get disgusting. Yeah. And I didn't feel like getting the mop out until it's time to clean the walls.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like, I don't know. I cannot wait to paint. It's just, anyway.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's why coffee always comes in handy, right?
God.
Which, by the way, I'm excited with this episode. You know, it's been a little bit since we talked about coffee, obviously.
I live and breathe by coffee.
2 reasons why I'm excited about this. Number one, I was waiting to announce this, and this is just such a cool thing about all the interaction and response we've gotten to the show and the positive stuff of the show. We've got our first sponsor.
We do.
Which I did not think that would happen anytime soon.
No, but I'm super excited about it.
But we do.
Yeah.
And it is so awesome. So with that being said, the sponsor of Emily's Emotional Support Coffee of the Month is Emma's Enchanted Travel.
Yeah.
And a Disney World and Universal Studios travel planner. That is what she is. That is what she does. And she offers so much. All of her services are completely free. What is that? They are free, meaning you do not pay her anything. She gets everything from Disney, from Universal. You don't have to give her $1. And I don't know how we've worked with travel planners before where we've paid things down, right? Or provided payment things and they kind of go and do with it. That does not happen here. She gets everything done and they pay her, which is just awesome. So you don't pay any additional fees to use her as your agent. She has a deep knowledge and passion for the magical theme park. She's been there multiple times. She's been to both multiple times. She has done all the rides. She has done all the events. She has done everything possible that you can do there. Mm-hmm. She can save you money and does so much more just than book your trip. She provides specialty guidebooks. She actually wrote us up a one for a potential Disney trip, which was amazing. It was beautiful, all in color, even broke down our individual kids, what they like and what they're into and what that may apply to in Disney World, which I thought was amazing.
And knowing that I am celiac and that Tegan is...
That's right, your food allergies.
Celiac and dairy-free. She put information on like how to find gluten-free and dairy-free food options throughout the park and like where to go and how to find them.
That's right. Depending on the day and where you are, she fully provides personalized itineraries and so much more. She's always available for questions and believe that if you leave your vacation with any regrets or missed desires that she didn't do her job, her motto is every moment matters, and she makes sure to plan each vacation with the individuals in mind so they can have the most magical experience possible. So you can check out her website at www.emmaenchantedtravel.com, and you can follow her on Instagram at emmaenchantedtravel. To begin a consultation, just shoot her a message or go to her site and follow that process, okay?
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with just touching base with her. It's completely free to do so. You get your rundown. Unless you're booking a trip, you don't have to worry about paying anything, and you're paying for the trip. You're not paying her. So keep that in mind. So,
and I was shocked at how affordable everything that she had given us.
It was about $7,000 cheaper than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Is what I did the math in my head. Yeah. When she gave us that rundown. So we'll be going to Disney World again sooner rather than I thought, just because of what she was able to bring to the table. So guys, again, I'd highly recommend Emma Enchanted Travel, and thank you so much for being the first sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
It is an awesome thing, and thank you for listening, and thank you for trusting us with announcing your business. So
yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, Emily, where did you decide your emotional support coffee of the month is? And I will say this just to start out, there is a ton of coffee places in Kansas City. I don't think we realize that. And so what we've been doing is
I've always known it, but I feel like I'm very more aware of it now.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been visiting these places, and then what we're finding is that, some we're enjoying more than others. So we want to make sure that we usually visit a new one once a week. We want to make sure there's a winner every month, and we want to make sure that they're recognized. So we chose a winner this month. We visited probably about 5 or 6 different coffee shops over the period of time that since the last episode, which has been a little bit over more than a month. We visited this coffee shop. We thought that based on the decor, the interaction with the staff, what they had to offer as far as product, and then what the overall vibe was. We decided on this. We're going to be bringing them a wonderful certificate that shows that they are an emotional support coffee of the month winner, and it's going to have listed their very own episodes. What was the coffee shop that you decided was going to be the emotional support?
This adorable little old house. It's the house itself has been there
it's
since
over 100 years old, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's been there since I can remember Kansas City and driving down North Oak. It's called Renegade Coffee. They have taken this house and completely renovated it into a business. And the vibe is so very much me and you, I think.
A rustic old home.
Color scheme, all of it. Love everything about it.
They did so well with the holidays, too, the way they did it.
They did. And they do coffee, tea, and then they also sell books.
That's a cool thing, too. There's a little miniature
really
library
cool
wrapped around.
Well, they have different sections. In each of the rooms, they have different bookshelves with different things on it. But they're a small family-owned business. We also got to purchase a bag of their
we've been roasted coffee at home on top beans. Of getting coffee there for sure.
Yeah, and we got their Compassion blend, I believe is what it's called.
What's that associated with? And forgive me, because
they had it they had just a couple bags out of it, and a percentage of the proceeds for that blend went towards the family working towards an adoption.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what their passion as far as.
Yeah. So I don't really know much more about the family. I don't think
they have a cause. They're passionate about bringing children that need homes into their home, and they are.
I don't know if it's the family that owns Renegade,
but just adoption,
or if it's somebody that works there. I don't really know the connection of who's adopting, but they did this small batch roast, and it's delicious. I really enjoyed it. It's a medium. It was
great.
Roast.
And they had Christmas coffee special. So I got the white Christmas raspberry, I believe. And I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think it was
you got
white
the cranberry
Christmas latte, right? And it was a cranberry raspberry white chocolate latte. Perfect balance of tasting like coffee, but also tasting the flavor that it has. Not too sweet. Yeah. Not too much coffee.
And I just did, the first time we went, I just did a vanilla latte. Right. And then the second time I got their drip of the day. Mm-hmm. And I just added my cream and sugar. And
Dad approved of the coffee as well. They're really accommodating with kids. Like I said,
we went back, we took the kids.
There's different books. There's children's books, there's adult books. The other cool thing
they had an awesome little, scavenger hunt for the kids for the Christmas time. And so, they could tell our kids were running around looking for their last item. So they kept giving clues. Yep. And then they got a little candy cane. They had no idea we were
going to mention them on a podcast. This is just them interacting with their customers. So I'm sure this will still be a surprise to them because we didn't mention it. So.
Yeah. But it was just so cute. And everybody there was super friendly, super nice. It just had a really awesome vibe. They have a great little patio section outside that I can't wait to try when it's warm.
Location's perfect. It's right off 152 in North Oak. It's right by the public library. You can literally go rent a book and walk over and get yourself a coffee and sit in. And it looks like a small house on the outside. There's a lot of fucking room in that place.
Yeah, it is a house.
The downstairs basement's all decked out to be where there's tables, there's 2 other rooms, and then there's the main entrance. Yeah. There's a lot of space in there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
I really enjoyed it. It was really nice.
It's been one of my favorite it might be my favorite so far that we've gone to. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Renegade Coffee. Thank you so much for the customer service that you guys provided and being so accommodating to our children and the delicious coffee that you provided. And you guys got it's just so cool that you have a cause too that you're doing on top of just serving people coffee. But it was an awesome vibe. And there wasn't anybody in there that I didn't see that was having a good time and enjoying themselves. And the coolest part was too, did you see the 2 moms sitting with their babies on the floor in that
they
one
had
room?
a little play area. Mm-hmm.
It's just accommodating to all walks of life. There was people having a fucking business meeting. There's moms playing with their kids. There's college kids having talks about religion. And then there was, girls just catching up from the night before.
Yep.
Like you could not have more of a melting pot of people coming together and feeling inclusive. Or feeling included. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a cool story. So shout out to Renegade Coffee. Thank you for being Emily's emotional support coffee of the month. And we'll be bringing
Lord knows I need it.
we'll be bringing that certificate by, and we'll be posting that on our social media here soon.
Yeah.
So, and then with that being said, because we're talking about emotional support coffee, obviously it's going to go into our, do we have to start a book club? And our first segment, our first time doing a book of the month club, we're doing Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which also had a TV show recently, a 9-episode TV show on Apple TV Plus. So we watched that. We read the book first, and then we watched that. What was your first? Well, I guess maybe we should. Do you want to run down a synopsis of what the book's about, or would you like me to provide one, and then we can kind of go into what your initial thoughts were on the book, and then we can jump to the TV show.
I mean, the book is very much not my type of thing. Like I would never.
It's a sci-fi fiction.
Yeah, I would never have picked it up if it hadn't been for you reading it and like loving it. But I think because there had that like love story in there, I think that's what kind of caught me. But yeah, it's a sci-fi. It's multi-universe.
Multiverse.
Oh,
multi-universe is fine. Sorry, I apologize.
And I don't know, you kind of like, there's a lot that plays into it, and it kind of just all intertwines together, and then it breaks apart, and then it just like, I don't know. I'm not going to do a good job explaining it.
You're doing great. It's a world within a world, right? When we start families and we make choices to come together, because that's really what it is. This whole story is based on choice, right? We create worlds with the choices that we make, right? And the main character, Jason Dessen, he made a choice young in his life. He had an opportunity to have this great career as a scientist. His future wife, Daniela, she had an opportunity to be potentially a famous artist. And they ran into a scenario where she got pregnant, and they decided that their relationship being together was more important than success. And they built a family together. And that choice created that world.
Yeah.
But what if there's other worlds out there where they didn't make that choice? Or maybe one of them didn't make that choice, right? That didn't happen for them. However, it does happen. So the interesting thing about this is it's all revolved around this family and the choice they made to be together and create their family. However, there's all these other worlds where they didn't make that choice.
Right.
And in one of those worlds.
And like for every choice that they do or don't make, a world is created based on the choice to make it or not make it. Like it just keeps.
Infinite amount of worlds based on infinite amount of choices.
Yeah.
And I think anybody can relate to that in every day. If we think there's so many people that go back and they're like, oh, I wish I would have done it this way or differently. And you've heard me talk about this on this thing now. I'll take all the bad and the good because it got me here with you. But there's a world, if this is really true or if this is a reality. And the multiverse is a theory. So it is an actual scientific theory, meaning that it is possible. There's a world where you and I are not together, that after our crawl for cancer, we broke up. You like that I brought that up? No. Emily got really drunk at a crawl for cancer and told me she was going to break up with me.
Yeah.
We just started dating. But there's a world where we went through with that, okay? And so we're different people. We grew differently because we weren't together. The things we ran into that were bad, we weren't able to grow from it because we were together. And same thing here, right? So there is a Jason out there that pursued his ambition and became a famous physicist.
And we meet him.
Won an award and also created a box. And this box allowed him to travel to these different realities.
Yeah. What is it like in a sub?
It's just called the box.
No, I know, but what is it?
So basically what the box does.
Forget the state.
Thank you. No, that's great. So what the box does is it allows a person to be physically in superposition.
That's it.
Meaning that there's no outside environments that can create decay or cause any disruption, right?
Right.
And so you're really allowed to be in this metaphysical state where you are able to go. And essentially the mind creates a visualization that you can kind of take in and satiate with, which is in the story and in the show, which the show does a great job as well.
Yeah.
It's a hallway of doors.
Yeah.
And this hallway of doors
but it's
is
like
infinite possibilities of all these decisions made.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's not like you can just navigate it.
No.
It takes mental training and focus of what you're really wanting and what's going through your mind, both consciously and subconsciously, to choose what kind of environment you run into.
Yeah. Everything you think, feel, every ounce of you needs to be on the same page in order to create the new world that you want to enter.
You're not creating a world. You're going to a world that
right,
based
but like
off
it's
choices and
based
things like
off
that.
of like every part of you, like how you feel.
So
and
if you're in
think
distress or if something subconsciously is going through
you're
your
going to
mind
go
with
through,
anxiety, you're going to run into a world that's a shit show.
Yeah.
Right? So this guy, Jason, and we call him Jason 2. That's the character name. I mean, it's Jason Dessen, but it's Jason 2. It's the Jason who has essentially regret that he didn't start this family. Because like what you find out. And the reason why. The
tagline is like, are you happy with the choice that you've made?
Are you happy with the choice you made?
Are you happy with your life?
And this character clearly isn't. And so what it does is it starts out with his family, and they have a wonderful dynamic going. They have an older son who's about to be a driver. He's 15 going on 16. They're just having a wonderful family night. He finds out that a guy that he went to college with won this award that he likely was on track to win before he decided to start having a family. Doesn't want to go to the celebration, but the guy purposely has a celebration near their house. His wife has him go attend it. They go attend it. Or he goes and attends this event, and the character's name is Ryan, who won the Popvia, I think is the name of the award, and it's an award for science, and they basically get $1 million and basically all this grant and research money to continue on their passion. Yeah. And they're having conversations there, and the guy basically does allude to the fact that this should have been you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't take that super well. The night kind of gets abruptly ended. He's walking home. He's going to get his wife ice cream. All of a sudden, somebody holds a gun up to him and tells him,
gets kidnapped.
He needs to get in the car with him.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, he is drugged. He is then wakes up, and he's in a world where everybody's wondering where he's been for the past year, and they want to know what happened. And he's a scientist. He doesn't have a family, and he is still Jason Dessen, but nothing is of what his world was, right?
Everybody knows him, but he doesn't know anybody else.
And the book and the movie, I mean, they're pretty much, they
really do
really well together.
And one thing I think was really cool, reading the book, it was written so visually well that you can see
why it's a great show.
Everything that happens, and the way they did the show, like it's almost exactly what I envisioned in my head as I was reading the book.
Adds more to it.
I do like the twist that the show gave towards the end, but I still like the book better.
Agreed. I think the book, some of the things they leave out, I think the less is more has been good. But I will say, and we'll get to this in a little bit, the fucking end, the way it kind of twists out to where it does end, I loved and thought it was better than the book. Don't know how you feel about it, but that's how I felt.
I don't know. I still like the way the book ended.
It still ends the same way.
They end so close together, but I do like the twist that they add. Yes, I like the twist that they added in the show than the way the book did it. Yeah.
So let's get into this a little bit more. So we broke it down, right? The family, all that together, get to the point where he's kidnapped. He obviously wakes up in a world where it's Chicago. And sorry, I should have said this is a family in Chicago.
Every world they enter is some version of Chicago.
Which is great. That's fun too. Because you have an affinity to Chicago. Your dad.
I love that city.
Which is awesome. So shout out to Papa. So with that being said, he wakes up and everybody's wondering where he's at. He clearly knows who he is. People don't realize though that he's not the Jason that was from that world. And
like he figures out that he
been
knows replaced.
Who he is, and he eventually figures that out. They talk to him about the box. The box was something that was in Jason's mind. Like when they were before they made these choices that kind of broke apart these different versions of Jason, the box was always something there. So he had a small microscopic version of that he, in theory, was talking about doing. But when he started to settle down and build a family, that went to the wayside, and he became a professor at a small university.
Yeah.
This guy went through with it and built the real fucking thing. You can put yourself in superposition. You can go out and see these worlds. He sees this world. He finds it. And obviously, he's trained his mind to think about that one choice, which was when they got pregnant, he ended up deciding Jason 2 decided that he wanted to pursue his career. It was not a good time.
Right.
And in that world, Daniela as well decides not to keep the baby because he doesn't want to be a part of that process. And they splinter off and they go do their own thing. She becomes an artist. He becomes a famous scientist. He builds this box, and that's how he's able to get to this Jason. He kidnaps him, throws him in the box, sends him back to his world, And in his mind, he justifies it with, I know this guy probably regrets not pursuing science,
right?
Just like I regret not pursuing Daniela. He'll be happier in this world. I'm going to be happier in this world. It's all going to fucking work out.
Right.
Like we all think things do. Right?
Well, I think one thing to note about Jason too is he thinks he's doing something
noble for him.
Better
yep.
for the other person, even though he's kind of shitty.
I think in his mind, he thinks that he missed out on something. So he knows that this Jason feels the same way, and he can mirror those two things up, and they can both be happy, easy peasy. Everything will be okay.
Right.
In time. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's
not that
the
way
case.
That works.
Jason 1 is not okay with not being with his fucking family.
No.
He wakes up.
And Jason 2 isn't really happy with the family.
And we'll get with that. At first, though, it is a very passionate love fest of he's so happy he's with her. He's trying to acclimate to that. Meanwhile, our Jason...
And, like, she's just going on with it. Like, she has no fucking clue who this guy is all of a sudden.
Attention that you're not... It's not a bad thing. We have this where... You get comfortable in the roles that you're in. You're happy, but that doesn't mean there's passion all the time. I mean, with our kids and everything, we only get so often to be together and be in a relationship together. And there it is in classic form, right? There's our wonderful Miller dogs barking away. They get to be in that, form, right? And so she's at first, like, this is a change in my husband. He's more passionate for me. The kid's older. We're having more time for ourselves. I think that's how she takes it initially. Yeah. And then meanwhile, Jason, the original Jason, our Jason, the hero of the story, is doing everything he can to desperately get away from this company.
Yep. Going through door after door after door.
Well, no, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, oops! I'm sorry.
So he's in this world. He's not acclimating to it. He tries to run away. He ends up getting stuck in a hospital. They end up getting him because this company, and forgive me, I can't remember. It starts with a V, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. But
Vitech or something
like that.
Vicom.
That company, they're a scientific research company, and they were backing this building. And essentially, what happens is he goes and finds the Daniela of that world.
Yeah.
And when he finds the Daniela of that world, she's an artist, and he kind of tells her what's going on, and he runs into Daniela and the version of Ryan as well, which this version of Ryan in this world isn't successful because he went on and pursued science. Right. So Ryan doesn't win the Pavia like he did in Jason's world.
No.
And they don't really have a close relationship at all, right? Not that they were super close in his world either, but it's more of an antagonistic type of relationship. And he's explaining this to her, and they kind of, in the book, they are intimate with each other. They have sex.
Well, yeah.
Which is interesting in the TV show, which it's Apple TV. I didn't think there would be any, they don't even really, it seems like they're going to start to maybe even make out. They don't even go there. And then they're interrupted by the security from this company who's desperately out there searching because they don't want this thing to get out, right? They don't want people finding out about this. They run in, they see Daniela, they shoot her. In the book, they shoot her. I don't know if she's trying to call the cops in the book. I can't remember. But in the movie, she's trying to call the cops. And they shoot her and kill her.
She's doing I don't know if she is on the book, but I do know I think that's pretty much the same in the book.
Yeah. So long story short, they shoot her. They take him back. They know he's not the Jason of this world now. And they're like, "What the hell did you do with our Jason?" Thinking he had done something when in reality they don't know.
Their Jason that
their Jason has gone rogue and decided to make his own life. Right? They're there for the scientific research, the purpose of creating something more. And so they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And it is a very dark, torture and trying to figure this out. And that's where our character, she's in it a little bit before, but the Amanda character is so important that comes in. So Amanda is who Jason 2 ended up with from a relationship perspective in the world that our main character is in now, right?
Yeah.
He ends up being in a relationship with her. Obviously, he's not truly happy with her because he fucking bails on her.
Yeah, he just leaves one day.
But she's a psychologist. She's a part of the program for the box. She actually trains people that are going to go into the box to be mentally prepared to handling going and choosing these different realities and having your mind focused and what you may go into with harsh environments. She's essentially training him for all of that stuff.
Yeah.
She realizes that he's not the Jason. And as she gets to know him more during this period of the book and of the show, she realizes in my opinion, I think you pick up that she realizes he's a better version of him.
Yeah.
And she ends up deciding to help him escape.
Yep.
And as she's helping him escape, unfortunately, they figure that out. They brought that Ryan character. They figured out how to get a hold of him because they knew he interacted with him. They end up fucking killing him. She helps him escape, and they get in the box and they leave, but they're together. So she leaves that world. They were going to kill her for trying to help him. So she has nowhere to go. And so they're on this track now of they shoot themselves up with this psychotropic drug that allows them to essentially put them in the mind state to be in superposition. And then they go and they start going to these different worlds.
Right.
And I think
all trying to go back to his world.
And that's where he's trying to go. And she's supporting that.
Yeah.
And you don't know quite, besides her just trying to escape death, what her motivations are after that until you get a little bit further in the book. In the TV show. Now, here's where the book is great because it kind of go into some of the worlds they go into initially, but the TV show just visually just
so
brings
much better
that to the table, right?
Yeah.
The first world they go to, it's like this fucking snow world where basically, obviously, there's a climate catastrophe. There's some sort of ice age.
Well, there's something like that in every world.
Well, no, I know, but like you spend a lot of time in this one, both in the book, because she kind of freaks out, runs into this world. They can't see anything. They have to try to go in to get in this house. Obviously, mostly everybody in the world's dead from this ice age.
Yeah, they've all like
occurred.
frozen to death.
Yep. And then they lose sight of where the box is. He's got to help save her from dying of exposure to the cold. They find a house. They eventually get back. They figure out how to find the box because she's able to track it, and they get back in. And it's kind of this process that happens over and over again where they're trying to get to these worlds.
Until they figure out like the rhythm of like, they use like journaling to get in the right mindset.
So important to the storyline.
They really start to focus on every aspect of his world, not just the characteristics, but the way
how you feel,
the family makes him feel, how
what your choices
daily
were,
life made him
how you
feel.
felt when you made those choices, like when they first met each other. How did you feel? Those sorts of things. That's why she's so important to the storyline because without her, he would have never been able to get back.
Yeah,
because he wasn't trained. He wasn't trained like Jason 2 to be able to navigate this world.
No.
In the TV show, they make a very big designation of that because as Jason 2 is enjoying our main character's
he can
world,
go in and out.
He can go in and out of the box, and he can pretty much dictate where he wants to go.
Exactly. Yeah, and he can always end up back in Jason 1's world.
And the book doesn't really go into that. He's not really traversing the multiverse in the book. In the TV show, because fucking things are happening, right?
He's fucking up. That's what's happening.
Danielle is starting to be suspicious of who he is because he doesn't know things about his child, like an allergies. He doesn't know things about the choices they've made because all he knows is up to the choice of him deciding to pursue science and them not starting a family.
Right.
Everything that's happened after that, he's not that Jason.
Right.
And yeah, it's great that he's given her a lot of physical attention all of a sudden, but she starts picking up right away, pretty quick in the book and pretty quick in the show. There's something fucking off with my husband here. And, of course, you try to lodge us. You don't think it's a different person from a different universe. So she's thinking maybe it's drugs, alcohol, something, another woman, whatever it may be, right? There's something off about the way my husband's behaving. Is he having mental issues, whatever it may be? And his way of dealing with these things that he runs into, people finding things out or him trying to get out of the mundane of his life because he doesn't like being a college professor, right? He traverses the multiverse and travels the multiverse and kind of tries to patch things together and fix it. Well, just like if you try to make shift or patch something in a relationship or with yourself in a kind of a half-assed way, it doesn't work out very well. And that's a lot of what he deals with during the story, which is fantastic. He's able to figure out how to make money because he goes and finds a guy that's the president of the company, but he's not the president of the company in our main character, Jason's world. He's just a rich guy
and he
is a
makes
trust fund
him
kid,
a thing.
And he gets him to give him money so he can let him go traverse the world. That's not in the book. That's kind of the cool additional pieces to watching the TV show, which I highly recommend, right? So he makes some money so he can kind of stop being that and he can focus on his family. But that's not great because then the wife, as she's getting suspicious, she figures out that he has this drug. She thinks he's a drug addict, but it's the drug that allows you to be in superposition and visualize and go to these different universes. Well, Ryan, who's won the award in our main character's world,
created the drug.
He's the one who's in the process of creating that drug. And he's like, you fucking stole that from me. So what do? He gets rid of Ryan. And in his way, this character's always constantly justifying his actions by doing something he thinks that it's better off. So he drops Ryan off in this like utopia Chicago where people get along and the environment's clean and everything's great. You're going to be happier here. It didn't work out this way, and he drops him off and he locks him out, right?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, we're
giving a lot of spoilers away.
Well, it's not a spoiler. This is a book club. We're going to talk through it. So I'd highly recommend, like, just going forward when we talk about a book or a TV show, we're going to talk about it in its entirety. So, and it's fine. That's what the whole point of doing this, right?
Yeah.
When you get together at a book club, you don't fucking talk about the highlights. You talk about the book and you talk about the show. So we get back to Jason, who's traveling through the multiverse with Amanda. I'm just saying, traveling through the multiverse with Amanda, and they're just bouncing back and forth. They're running into places where there's no atmosphere anymore. And they're just kind of like, we got to figure this out. So they stop and they try refocusing and do mental preparation for it. Well, as all that's happening, there starts to be a romance that starts blossoming between the two because obviously she had a relationship. She knows Jason to a certain level. And because she built a relationship with Jason too, there just naturally is some things there that they start coming together on. And as that starts happening in the book, Jason pulls away. In the TV show, they more are starting to come together. Yeah. And there comes to a point where it's kind of shit or get off the pot. Like either we're going to just go, this isn't going to work out. You're not going to get back to your family. We need to go start our own lives. We'll find a place. And of course, it all ends up in this utopia Chicago. But
we don't know that yet.
Well, that's my point is, though, they eventually get to this utopia Chicago. And I don't know if that's how it happens in the book. I don't think it does. I think they're just traveling. And in the book, she decides, I'm never going to be what you need me to be. And
she can't go to his world because there's a version of her in that world too. Well,
and also he's going back to be with his family. So there's just nothing there for her. So when in the TV show, she sees an opportunity in this utopia Chicago, the version of her disappeared. She can actually jump in and be fine. And she wants him to stay. In the book, they fall asleep. And I think he kind of rejects her from a physical standpoint. And he wakes up and she's just gone. So either way, the relationship ends. And so eventually Jason's on his own. Amanda's off. In the book, you really don't know what happened. The TV show does a great job wrapping up her story arc in the sense that she goes to this utopia Chicago. She's going to move to Seattle, and she's happy. She's upset that didn't work out with them, but she's overall going to be okay.
Yeah.
Jason is still moving on, and he can't fucking figure it out. I might want to bring up too, watching the TV show and in the book, there is a world they go to where, and this is, we're only a couple years after COVID, but there's a disease that goes through. Yeah. Oh my God, that's horrific in the book. And they do such a great job in the TV show where he goes and shows up at his house and Danielle is still alive. And she's like, oh my God,
you died.
You died.
Yeah.
Or you like an angel or whatever. And she's on the process. She's going to be dead any day now.
Yeah.
Charlie, their son, has already died.
Yeah.
And he ends up helping euthanize her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That in the book and both in the TV show, it's fantastic. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump back on us, but so he's still going through the process and you don't think he's quite going to get out, but eventually he's able to do so. And he does get out of the world. And when he gets into his Chicago, obviously Jason 2 is still there and with his family, and he's just trying to grab on and hold on to everything that he possibly can. And he's starting to get really kind of, I don't know, self-destructive is probably the wrong way to say it, but he's doing things in much more of a self-destructive manner that this is all going to come on top of him eventually at some point, you would think.
He's totally losing control.
Yes, he's losing control. Thank you. He's making decisions that aren't quite in his character as far as being a cold and calculated person that he tends to be.
Right.
He's trying to cover things up and he's having like, the inability to do so.
Kind of, I don't want to say panicking, but he's getting frazzled.
Yeah, he's not able to keep up with all the shit that's going on, and it's very obvious he's a phony.
Mess. Yeah, right? He's made a goddamn mess of himself.
If you're not being organic and you're not being real, people pick up on that shit, and that's what's happening, and it's kind of falling apart around him. Also, in the TV show, they do a good job. He's not very happy, and I know in the book they kind of allude to that, but they do a much better job. Like, he realizes the grass is always greener isn't fucking exactly what it turns out to be, right? Mm. And so as our main character, our hero, Jason, enters this world, he's making his plan to take his family back. He goes to a gun store, and this is where it gets great. Goes to a gun store, and he's buying stuff. And in the book, when he goes and he interacts, the lady initially brings up right away, hey, you were just in here. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck? So you're thinking Jason 2? But no, it's not Jason 2.
It's another Jason 1.
That's right. And so to your point, right? Every universe and every choice he made. So when he goes into these doors, he's creating another version of himself. Mm-hmm. And then there's all these choices that are made while he's in that universe that creates other universes. And some of those Jasons make it out. And what did they say? It was like,
they're all a version of Jason 1. Yep. Like the original Jason.
From the time they kind of go into the box and then certain worlds, that's where they split apart based on choices that were made.
So they all remember being married to Daniela.
Kidnapped by Jason 2.
They were all kidnapped by Jason 2. They all want to be back with Daniela and Charlie. And they are all working towards getting back to their family.
And some of them make it, like hundreds of them. I think, right?
Yes.
So there's fucking hundreds of him running around. And eventually they organize like a chat page where they're all talking about how they're going to figure out getting rid of this Jason.
Yeah.
And where then some of them are individually messing each other and saying, hey, let's just fucking get rid of everybody else. We'll team up. And then we'll take turns being Daniela's husband and Charlie's dad.
Yeah, like joint custody or something.
Fucking well done and thought out. And visually, they do such a good job in the show.
Yeah.
And that kind of all climaxes to where eventually our hero, Jason, gets himself arrested on purpose.
Yeah.
While he's there. And this is after he realized there's multiple hims that have made it back.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get away from them. They're going after each other. Some of them are trying to go after each other and kill each other.
I mean, they've got to take each other out.
Yep.
Like Hunger Games style.
One, right? There can only be one, right? So he gets himself thrown into jail and he has Daniela come pick him up. And then he doesn't look like himself. She just saw him this morning. He looks completely different.
She wants nothing to do with him.
They're on the rocks, especially in the TV show. They're on the rocks. They're
and
having
in the
issues
book.
in the book too, but like it's very much like, hey, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm here to help you out, to get you out of jail, but I don't want anything to do with you. And then he starts explaining to her, I was kidnapped. That is not your husband.
Yeah.
And he has her call him. And of course he answers. And
Jason 2 answers.
That's where it is really truly determined that Jason who is arrested, our Jason, the main character of the story, is the Jason. And it's not because all these other Jasons are Jason too. Daniela's husband and Charlie's dad. The difference is, and why he becomes the main Jason, is because she chooses him. Which is, I think, is fantastic. It is that choice, me choosing you as your wife, you choosing me as your husband. That's why we are what we are.
Right.
And it's those choices that make the reality of our world. And that's what's so fucking great. So she essentially chooses him. They try to go to a hideout. Mm-hmm. And in that process, they track them down because of Charlie's phone.
Yeah. Well, the book is Charlie's phone, but in the show, it's her. The friend's car.
Yes. So there's a couple ways the TV show does it where the car that they took from a joint friend, they track that down. In the book, it's Charlie's phone because he has a girlfriend and he turns on the phone to see how she's doing.
Yeah.
In the book, they go to a cabin. In the TV show, they go to the girlfriend's family's
summer house or something.
Home, right? Yeah. But nonetheless, there's some minor differences. But still, the event is that they're hiding out and then all these Jasons come ascending upon them. But during that process, the wife actually gets on the chat and says,
I chose him.
I'm choosing the Jason I'm with. That's who I want to be with. That's who I want to live my life with. I don't want you, right? So that kind of happens in the background, and you get more to that. Jason 2 shows up at this house.
Yeah, where he doesn't in the book.
He does in the book too. The difference is Jason 2 in the book tries to take
that's
the family back, and he's going to kill our main character, Jason.
Yeah, I remember that now.
In the TV show, he comes and he helps them.
Yeah.
He realizes that he made mistakes. He's not fucking meant for this world. He wants them to be happy, specifically Danielle and Charlie, and he helps them out in the TV show, right? And they get away. In the book, he eventually helps him out, but it's when he's dying. So he gets shot, he's dying, and he hands them the keys so they can drive off. So as they're driving off, they're driving back to Chicago, and they realize there's hundreds of me everywhere.
Right. They can't stay in this world.
We can't be here. So they go to the box.
Yeah.
And when they go to the box, there's all these Jasons that made it back waiting. And you think, well, they're fucked.
Yep.
But what happens is that there's a lot of Jasons there that because she chose him, they're saying, no, you're going to fucking let them go.
because they love her and they want her to be happy.
And that's the Jason she chose. That's the Jason she's going to get. And they kind of all eventually talk to each other. There's a lot of them that aren't happy about it. They all stand aside. They let him go in the box.
Yeah.
They take the medicine and they let Charlie choose
the world.
They're going to go.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I love that about that. And they do it both in the book and in the TV show.
Yeah. And you never really know where they end up, but I kind of think they all end up in the Utopia, Chicago.
I think
with
so
Ryan
too.
and Amanda. Like
I
really, because Amanda and Ryan
in the
end
TV
up
show, they
in
end
the
up
same
being
world.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. They end up coming together and they're in Seattle. So obviously, like, I don't know if they'll ever interconnect or whatever, but they do end up going to this kind of perfect society and perfect world.
Yeah.
And it's cool because Charlie, who's a kid and more of an innocent human being, like, I guess with his mind subconsciously, he's able just to traverse to there. Well, he's really not jaded by the world yet. Right.
Right.
And then the other thing is that but it doesn't actually allude to it. It kind of shows, it just shows like a beautiful aura of sun and they walk through. And that's how the book ends and that's how the show ends.
Yeah. It's great.
So you liked it, right?
I did.
I think it's fantastic. And to your point, it's
I don't know that it's going to
tea.
get me hooked on sci-fi by any means.
I wouldn't
but I
expect
do
it to.
think Blake Crouch is a great writer,
He's
and
a
I
visionary.
would definitely read something from him again.
It was fantastic. And it was just nice that we could watch something that I usually typically enjoy that you don't, but you got into it. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool because the foundation of relationships and the choices that we make both individually and together create these worlds.
Yeah.
And I think it's the truth. I think today, like the person we're talking about, right? They've got a choice to make.
Yeah.
They got a choice to make to work on themselves. They got a choice to make to try to save their marriage. These are all choices we make. We've been at those fucking crossroads. Mm-hmm. There's if the multiverse is real, there's a fucking world where we didn't make it.
Yeah.
Well,
and like another thing, like Jason too ends up going to therapy with a version of Amanda.
That's great. They do that in the TV show. They don't
because
do it in the book,
she was like, you need to work on yourself.
Yep.
Yes. And so like,
and obviously that's something she talked to him about in the other world too, that he just wasn't a big fan of, right? He doesn't need to be working on himself. He needs to be figuring out how to fix whatever's happening. You can't fix other things though if you don't fix yourself, or at least get yourself into the best possible version. So
I don't know. I just thought it was, I think because it had that relationship tie in it, I think that's the only reason why I stayed involved in it. But,
I think that's why it's a great show and a great book.
I do think it is a very good, like explanation of like the
just opening the door
I don't know, of the multi-universe and all of that stuff. So I definitely, I mean, I've heard it, you've talked about it, but I'm like, whatever. But it really does, like every choice you make has a consequence, whether it be positive or negative. And like, there is always that path unknown and that path untaken. And, you know,
and do we regret
this is kind of like this visualization of it.
Yeah. Completely agree. No, completely agree. But no, I appreciate you reading that with me. So now, can you explain to the audience too that you kind of came up with a cool thing, and I think this is something that any couple can do. It's always so easy to be like, hey, we're going to pick a date, we're going to go on a date, and that's our date night, and that's kind of our time to be a couple. But I do really like the idea of this Book of the Month Club, which we found online. And we're going to do our next version of Do We Have to Start a Book Club on the book that came in the mail.
So we have this store that we like to go to sometimes. And I have seen it on like Instagram and stuff too, where it's like blind date with a book. And you don't really know the book that you're getting. You just know, like, sometimes they just tell you the genre or like a little bit about it or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped up and you have no clue what it is. And it's just like time with you with a book. And I love reading, especially in the morning and at night. Drink my coffee, read my book.
Yep.
At night, you're on your phone or watching TV. I'm on my book. Like, it's just sitting in the kids' practice times.
Yep.
I can't listen to all of that chaos, so I read.
But to your point, this is something you're passionate about. This is something I want to at least share with you in some sort of way.
There's Book of the Month is like its own organization, like it's its own thing. But they had a special if you signed up, and which I found out that I didn't get the special. I was super sad about it. Like, apparently I'm supposed to
get a free hat, I think, and initially it costs like $5 a month. And this book club
didn't happen for me, so
1926.
I must have screwed up somehow, and I didn't get the the promo. So book of the month, if you're out there listening.
$5 a month. And they don't do anything with the show. This is just a cool thing that we figured out.
I want a hat.
Yeah, no kidding, right? We can message your support.
I like hats.
Yep.
But anyway, I signed up for the month, starting in the month of December. So this one's going to end pretty soon. But the book that I chose, you get like a selection of books, like 3 or 4 to choose from. And then they have all sorts of other books that you can purchase. And so the book that I chose is called Beautiful Ugly from Alice Feeney. And it looks like this.
Nice.
And I know absolutely nothing about it.
Well, we won't talk about it until the next episode. So that's the book we're reading. We don't need to go into synopsis of it. We'll mention it we'll put it on our website, dowehavето.com.
Yeah.
And that'll be our next book that we tackle next month.
Yes, I'm super excited to dive into this one. And the one that I was just reading, I kind of want to chat about too next time too, because I think it's a good one and I think you would like it too.
That sounds great.
But it's a historical fiction.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
Sure.
I'm going to just post on our website and our social. I'm going to take a picture of all the books that I've read in the year 2024.
Yeah.
And try to link them all to our page somehow.
Sure.
Or have you do that because you're a lot more tech savvy than I am. But that way, I mean, I read all the time, and I would love some suggestions for books for book club.
Well, you use multiple
I also
ones,
want to do like
has any books the
Rory Gilmore book club challenge. So if anybody wants to join in on that, I've got that coming for 2025.
Sure.
Everybody knows I'm a good Gilmore girl wannabe.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's right. So be on the lookout for our next book. We'll be doing that here in a few episodes. We'll try to get one out a month. If it has a TV show with it, we'll break that down too. If not, we won't. But yeah, no, this is fantastic. And thank you so much for taking that journey with me on that initial book review. I think it went really well, and I really enjoyed that. But it's one of those things like, date night doesn't have to be a specific day and time. Date night could be going on for days, for a month, even if you're
and then you just get together and chat about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And book of the month can be that thing. So I highly recommend that. That was really cool. It comes in a little fun blue box, drops it off once a month. It's pretty awesome. So yeah. But with that being said, I guess that's going to wrap up the show for today, and really appreciate, there was somebody that messaged me, and I think it was on Twitter, but they were like the Do We Have To crew, which I don't know what we would call our audience, but I did like that somebody referred to the audience as the Do We Have To crew. But appreciate everybody that's been listening to the show. This has been really cool, the response that we've gotten and everything. So, you can continue to expect to get versions of the show out to not only on our website, dowehavето.com, where you can submit questions and comments and feedback to the show, but also we're available on Apple Podcasts. We're available on Amazon Music. We are available on Spotify. Most places you get your podcasts, we are available on. We're also on social media, Instagram, TikTok. We were on Facebook. They shut us down for some reason twice, even though we said, hey, no, we're not I think they said we were doing something with sexual content. Like, no, we're a fucking marriage podcast, morons. Not. Apparently you can post about being a Nazi, but if you talk about being married, it's a fucking issue. Mark Zuckerberg, get your fucking life together, sir. Okay. We're on that, and now we're on Twitter.
I don't know that he has anything to do with Facebook anymore. It's his
fucking company, so I don't, I'll go to California.
Anyway, we will figure out Facebook sooner or later.
We'll be creating a new page for Facebook reluctantly. I'm not excited.
Please don't report us for
nobody's reported us. It's just
nudity
their watchdog process that they do, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So but we're available on all those social media outlets. We'll continue to bring content and videos. So just keep giving us your feedback, and thank you guys so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourselves. Have a wonderful 2025. I love you.
I love you too.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little thing, show you all that we can be. Come dancing.